Behrouz Bakhani was a freelance journalist in his homeland of Iran. An ethnic Kurd himself, he wrote for a Kurdish language magazine, and this, along with his atheism, was what got him into trouble with the strictly religious and anti-Kurd Islamic government of Iran. In 2011, Behrouz was arrested and interrogated by Iran's paramilitary intelligence agency. In 2013, the magazine's offices were raided and Behrouz's colleagues arrested. Behrouz was away from the office that day, so he managed to escape arrest. But when some of his colleagues didn't return from their interrogation, Behrouz feared for his life and he fled the country. This month, Behrouz was awarded an Amnesty International Australia Media Award for his body of journalistic work reporting from Manus. Yesterday, he was one of dozens of innocent men arrested on Manus Island under orders that came from Peter Dutton. He was terrorised and his belongings smashed in a joint effort by the PNG police and the Australian Federal Police. They told him during his detention that his punishment was because of that same award-winning reporting. Behrouz is not just a writer, he's an artist, a poet, a singer and a short filmmaker. His work is beautiful, confronting, uplifting and achingly honest. Behrouz was brought to Manus Island by Australia after he fled Iran and made his way through Indonesia, where he lived on the streets and often went hungry. With no visa, no employment prospects and no safe way to continue with his life, he worked his way onto a boat headed for Australia in the hope that he could be free. Free to live his life without the starvation and danger he'd faced in Indonesia or the persecution he'd faced in Iran. After complying with the grueling asylum seeker processing requirements, Behrouz was assessed by Australian immigration as being a genuine refugee. He sought asylum legally in the process of fleeing for his life. Behrouz has committed no crime. He's done no wrong against Australia. He simply did not wish to be tortured to death for not believing in Allah and for writing, so he fled to us and begged asylum. Behrouz, along with a friend known as Omar, made a short film about their journey to Manus and the violence in February 2014 that resulted in the death of Reza Barati. Here I present some excerpts from that award-winning film, which will help you understand why the men in the detention centre on Manus Island right now are frightened to leave the compound.
He was an Iranian journalist who escaped from his own country, which is ruled by religious government. I don't believe in any religion or God. At the beginning of the journey to Australia, our boat started to stand into the sea. The police arrested us and put us in a dirty prison. I was not able to stay in Indonesia, nor could I return to Iran, so I tried another time to flee to Australia. We were lost in the ocean when the British ship found us. We were transferred to Christmas Island, and they're transferred forcefully to Manus Island like criminals.
And the next day, in front of our compound, a lot of locals were gathering. With logs, pigs, and machetes. At 9:30, the power was cut off. The locals and the police were trying to invade the compound and break in the fences. When the people started shouting, not all of the people they escaped. No one was touching people. They were abusing us, they were cursing us, and they said, we don't want to see any of you in our land. We hate all of you.
Australia pulled out of the detention centre, cutting all services and removing all employees. They demanded the remaining refugees move to a remote village in the jungle with unfinished and unsecured facilities. The locals blocked off all roads to the new prison camps, unhappy with strangers being moved into their community. Even without water, power, food or toilets, the men were still too frightened to leave the compound. So they remained inside the abandoned prison in a peaceful protest. Even in the face of international criticism, including from the UN, Australia refused to budge. Any attempt to get food to the refugees was blocked by the Australian Navy. These desperate men felt that it was their last chance, and now it was either freedom or death. Australia's response to the peaceful protest was to join with the PNG police, raid the camp, beat the refugees and trash their belongings.
The reason they can't leave the camp is because it is unsafe on the other side. That is what they're terrified of. The locals on Manus Island don't want them there, and the Australian government has left them there to rot. It's an appalling situation. It's a human rights crisis, and it's becoming now an international stain on Australia's reputation.
The police came in early in the morning, more than 3 weeks after the former Australian-run prison had its power and water supply cut off. Refugees who are refusing to leave say they were peacefully resisting, but the police hit them with sticks and stones.
We want our freedom. We didn't come to Australia to live in prison forever.